in the deep, dark woods. Faces out. Okay, good job. Sarah and Gretel were kind and cheerful girls, but for some reason their new stepmother was never nice to them. Unbeknownst to everyone, the stepmother was actually a witch. She wanted to get the children away from their father so she could cook them and eat them. One night, Sarah and Gretel were in bed when they heard their stepmother speaking to their father. She ordered the father to bring the girls into the deep, dark woods and leave them there all alone. The girls overheard this and got very scared. Why was their father acting so strangely? Why was he agreeing to do this?
Shazam!
The witch had cast a spell on him to do her bidding. Sarah told her sister not to worry. She had a plan. So that night she snuck out of the house and filled her coat pockets with pebbles. The next day, Father led the girls deep into the woods. He was acting very strangely, as if in a trance. He was almost like a zombie. Gretel was very scared, but Sarah showed her how she was dropping pebbles from her pockets along the way.
Wait, but that was my plan.
Okay, it's okay. Somebody drop pebbles. Anybody can, you can. Okay, go ahead and drop the pebbles. And to mark the trail back. That night, Father sat the girls under a tree and told them he'd be right back. He was going to find wood for the fire, but he left and of course never came back for the girls. What will we do? Said Gretel. Sarah reminded her not to worry and reminded her about the pebbles. They followed the trail back until at last they were home again. And that night, but the stepmother was so angry to see them again. She was very mean and sent them to bed without any supper. That night, the girls overheard the stepmother telling the father again.
Father.
Remember, it's not your turn. You're quiet, right? Okay. So angry to see them again. She was very mean and sent them to bed. And sent the girls to bed without any supper.
It had to happen.
The stepmother told her father not to take them even further into the woods and leave them there. Okay. So now it's the girls' turn. Sarah reminded her sister not to worry. She would go gather more pebbles so they could make their trail and find their way back. But the witch, stepmother, fell asleep in her rocking chair in front of the door. Sarah could not get out to gather her pebbles. Okay, good. This time Gretel had a plan. Father had given them each a sandwich to eat as they walked along the trail. So as the father and the girls were walking through the forest, Gretel tore her sandwich. Remember? We were using play acting, remember? Okay. Gretel tore her sandwich into pieces she dropped along the path. If they followed them on the way back, they would find their way home. But when Father left them again that night, Gretel searched and searched for the scraps of bread and could not find a single one. The birds must have eaten them. Oh no! The girls got very scared. There was no way home. They searched and searched through the forest until they got so tired they lay down and went to sleep. And then in the morning, they woke to find an elf standing over them. He said he could lead them to a safe place where they could rest and have all they wanted to eat. So the girls followed the elf through the forest for a long, long time. Through the woods, over the rivers, until they saw a giant house in a clearing. The house was made entirely of candy. It had a fence made out of gingerbread people, and gingerbread people were standing all around the yard. The girls ran to the house and started devouring the house. Suddenly they heard a noise. It was the Oreo guards. Do your song.
Oreo. 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 Oreo.
The Oreo guards grabbed the girls and marched them to the back of the house. Okay, the song's over. And if you're not on stage right now, get off stage. Okay? So, the witch asked if the girls had been eating their house. But the witch seemed kind and took pity on them. She said they could live at her house and eat all the food their bellies could hold. That night, they sat down to a dinner of all the most tasty foods in the world. And after dinner, the elf led the girls to their bedroom in a shed behind the candy house. He said good night and pushed the door closed. But when the door closed, it locked from the outside. They were trapped. The elf assured them it was for their own safety. The next day, they sat down again to breakfast. The witch and the girls sat down to breakfast and lunch and dinner and second dinner and all their favorite food until they didn't think they could eat another bite. The witch asked the elf to put Rose to bed, but asked Gretel to stay. You will earn your keep, she said. By cooking and cleaning, said the witch, and day after day for the next week, Gretel scrubbed pots and swept floors while Rose was only allowed out of her room to eat. One day, Gretel saw a book poking out from behind the stove. The title was Delicious Ways to Cook Children. What? The witch was fattening them up to eat them? Gretel hid the book before the witch could know she had seen it. That night, Gretel told her sister what was happening. But don't worry, I have a plan, she said. So the next morning, the witch asked the elf to bring in the giant soup pots, for they were going to feast on something very special that evening. The giant soup pot looks like a cauldron. Gretel for sure knew the witch wanted to eat Rose that night. Gretel acted like she didn't know anything. She spent the day chopping vegetables and making a giant pot of soup.
Soup.
The witch asked the elf to go get Rose from her room. So Gretel asked the witch if she could taste the soup to see if she liked it. The witch came closer to the pot and had to stand on a stool to reach over the edge. Then Gretel took her chance and pushed the witch into the pot.
Oh no.
The witch was boiled alive.
Scary.
The Oreo guard rushed in to help the witch. But then strange things started happening. The Oreo guards fell to the floor and turned into cats.
And dogs. And dogs.
The gingerbread
And man turns
people
into a tail.
The gingerbread people shuddered and turned into children.
I'm being kicked.
Okay, the elf, well, the elf was still, we're almost done. The elf was still an elf, but he turned to the girls and said, "Oh, thank you. The witch had us all under a spell so we could not leave the house, except for me, because she wanted me to bring you to her house so she could eat you. Come, I will bring you home to your father's house." So now everybody clears the stage, except for the girls and the elf. The elf led them through the deep, dark forest for hours and hours. Finally, they saw their home in the distance. They walked up to their house and saw their father running toward them. "Father, run out and greet your daughters." He was so happy to see them, and he was not acting strangely anymore. It was as if a spell had been broken. And the stepmother, "Well," said the father, "I haven't seen her for weeks. She just walked into the woods one day and never came back." And so the girls, alone with their father again in their happy home, lived happily ever after.
Get up to bed, it's the gingerbread man. See you later.
So everybody come out